Well, here in Madison, a ceremony is planned for later this morning at the Wisconsin Veterans Museum.
Those who died in the 9/11 attacks will be honored, as well as those service members who've been killed in war since the attacks. Mary Jo joins us with further details on today's event.
You know, Robin, Charlotte, since 9/11, more than 30,000 men and women just from Wisconsin alone have served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other parts of the world as part of this war on terror. So obviously a very important day to recognize, and hard to believe it was so long ago. But, you know, with us this morning, we have two local veterans here. We have Tegan Griffith, who is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran originally from Wisconsin, from Wausau. And then we also have Domingo Leguizamon, who is a U.S. Army veteran. So thank you both so much for being with us this morning. And just for starters, what do you remember about September 11th? You know, it was more than a decade ago. Where were you and what was going through your mind?
I was actually in study hall at high school. I remember that the schools just weren't quiet, and they wheeled out TVs from the library into the cafeteria, and everybody just stayed in the cafeteria and watched it all day.
Mm-hmm. And then you enlisted later on, 2005. What motivated you to do that and to get deployed?
My dad had actually deployed first to Iraq, and then my little brother kind of talked me into joining the Marine Corps with him. So he was in about a year before I was, and then I went. So family affair.
Well, sounds like it. And then Domingo and or Tegan, if you want to chime in, you know, how important is it to recognize this day each and every year and have ceremonies like the one we're expecting later this morning?
Not to forget that we were attacked, and it was an act of war against the country, and that's something that we should always remember, not be caught by surprise again.
Mm-hmm. And obviously keep in the back of our minds, nothing to take for granted. And Tegan and or Domingo, what, if anything, would you like fellow veterans to know? You know, we have so many who came from Wisconsin alone. If there's anything that you would want them to know as they come home, as they're serving, what would that be?
I would say don't forget where you came from. Don't forget why you did it. Don't forget why you were in the military, why you deployed. Don't lose that feeling. It's very important to hang on to. And reach out to each other. We're a huge network. You said 30,000 plus veterans in Wisconsin. Reach out to each other, keep connected, and take care of each other.
All right. Well, Tegan and Domingo, thank you so much for being with us this morning, and thank you for your service. And you can check out the Remembrance Ceremony later this morning at the Wisconsin Veterans Museum. It starts at 10 a.m. It is free and open to the public, and it should be, again, Robin Charlotte, a very moving moment and something we should all remember.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mary Jo, thank you very much. Later today, a remembrance ceremony will take place in downtown Madison to observe the anniversary of September 11th.
Since then, thousands of men and women from Wisconsin have stepped up to serve, and today they will be remembered. Mary Jo Ola, downtown Madison this morning with more on that. Good morning.
Good morning again, Rob and Charlotte. And you know, the people that are also going to be honored today at this ceremony and other places as well are those emergency responders, those policemen, those firefighters that responded to those attacks on that day. And with us this morning is Chief Stephen Davis with the City of Madison Fire Department to chat with us. So thanks so much for being with us. And for starters, Chief, I know you've been up already, hard at work. But, you know, what do you remember about September 11th, 2001?
Well, I was actually on Engine 1 as a lieutenant that day. And we had a small kitchen fire as the planes hit the towers. And so we were absolutely amazed when we came back to the station, got cleaned up, and somebody turned on the TV and said, you know, look what's going on. So it really... You know, it's my place in memory of, you know, what happened that day. And I think the day just kind of unraveled from there as we watched in absolute horror and knew when we saw the towers come down that there were probably a lot of firefighter fatalities, a lot of civilian fatalities. So, and to put it in perspective, the City of New York Fire Department lost our department that day. And we had about the same amount of firefighters citywide, so we would have wiped out our whole department. So, you know, it's a challenge.
And I'm sure in your line of work, you just never know, you know, what battles you're going to have to come across on a day-to-day basis. But looking back at that day and then, you know, so many years later, I guess what has changed in your line of work?
Well, it's really, the fire service as a whole has changed. Weapons of mass destruction and how we respond to terrorist types events really came to the forefront after 9/11. We had the incident in 1993 at the World Trade Center but it wasn't. It was a huge event, but what didn't have the impact on the death toll, obviously. So that event at 9/11 really changed the fire service and how we respond and what we look for and how cautious we are.
And Chief, real quick before I let you go, how important is it to remember this day and then ring this bell for those civilians and lives that were lost?
It really means a lot to the department. We're honored that the state has allowed us to come in. It's going to be an excellent event. I also would like to plug our blood drive that we're having at the Blooming Grove Fire Department. Madison Police and Madison Fire challenge each other. So get out there and support the community.
Thank you so much, Chief. A lot of good stuff going on today, and thank you for your time. You can check out the Remembrance Ceremony this morning, starting at 10 a.m. at the Veterans Museum in downtown Madison. And Robin Chart, it'll be an event definitely worth checking out, especially today.
Mary Jo, thank you.